Share 28. Loneliness and that bottle of beer. Once, when I was living in Virginia, I was almost 3 years sober, but I was desperately lonely. I was feeling vulnerable because I had cut back to a few meetings a week. I met a girl whom I immediately invited to come live with me. She was in AA. Unbeknownst to me, though, it was her 40th time trying to get sober. Or her 20th try, something bizarre. She was only 20-something years old, but she was a totally chronic relapser. Anyway, she had been living in my house about a month with her non-alcoholic girlfriend, and I was coming up on my 3rd anniversary. One day, I came home, and she was sitting in the kitchen drinking a 6-pack of Moosehead Ale beer. She slid a bottle in front of me and said, "Listen, you're almost 3 years sober. You are just as much of a loser as you ever were. I don't hear the phone ringing off the hook. Why don't you have a drink? My mother drank after 8 years in AA. It's different, my mother says. After you've been in AA for a while, you've read the doctor's opinion, you know about your disease, you know you're an alcoholic, you know you can always go back to those meetings if you ever have trouble. You can virtually drink in safety. Come on, have a drink." She was giving me a pep talk on drinking. I slid the bottle away. I didn't drink it. A week later, when in town, she had an alcoholic seizure and ended up at the state mental institution. I was still so sick that on the day of her release from the state mental institution, when no one in her family wanted to have anything to do with her, I went in a blizzard in 4-wheel drive on the interstate to take her out the day of her release. I was completely codependent and enabling, and that was at 3 years sober. She stayed in my company less than 24 hours, during which time I rented a movie at a country store. It was a Marcello Mastroianni movie called Stay As You Are. Stay As You Are. I was really hoping she would do just that. Stay as you are. But she wouldn't hang out to watch it. She had to get back into town to continue drinking. Then she pretty much disappeared after that. I don't know what happened to that girl, but 5 years later I was on my way to tell my story at a meeting where all the cool people went. I was invited to be the speaker, and I was extremely nervous. I had already told my story to myself 20 times already, and I hadn't even gotten to the meeting yet. I stopped to buy something at a country store and ran into her mother, who had picked up a drink after 8 years, and she was now back in AA, something like a year. Seeing the mother made me realize I didn't have anything to be nervous about or to worry about in telling my story in front of all the cool people, because at least my story was not interrupted by drinking again around my 3rd anniversary. So with that, I went on to tell my story, feeling more confident than ever. Gratitude can go a long way.